Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to walk you through the ImAES project. So for debugging this project you will be requiring an additional plugin that has to be installed for Eclipse. So to do that you will have to go ahead and click on help, install new software. You will have to go to help, Eclipse Marketplace, and there you will have to search for a new plugin. So in the place where you have that find icon, so it's still loading. Okay, in place of that find icon, so I will be searching for Windows Builder. Okay, just type the word Windows Builder and click go. So this one, the very first result. So this one you will have to install. So whatever is selected by default, let it be. Click on confirm and click on yes. Accept the license and click finish. So the installation is going on. You can see towards the bottom right, it is showing the progress. It says 49%. So the installation is done. It is asking me to restart Eclipse. I will do that. Okay, so Eclipse just got restarted. So now the Windows Builder library has been installed and you can easily debug the code. So I'll show you how you can do that. So you all know that entry point for your project is this driver.java, right? So just right click on that driver.java and open it with a Windows Builder editor. You will get a new option called Windows Builder editor. Do that, and so this will be opening a new window where you can actually debug the front-end code. Okay, so by default the code will be shown to you. So but over here you can see the design mode. Okay, there is something called the design mode. Just click on that. So this will basically load the design of our front end. Okay, so here you people can make any changes to the front end screen. Okay, I'm going to maximize this. So this is the design of the front end screen. So you can see this is the page that you see when you launch our project, right? So if you want to change this particular text, so towards the bottom left you can see here the text. So this is where it is coming from. Okay, so I'm just going to rename this. I'm going to delete everything and I'm going to simply say improved AES and save it. Okay, I think Eclipse got crashed. It's restarting. Okay, so now you can see that entire text is now been changed to just improved AES. Okay, you can change the length of it also, and you can move it to center or any location you can change it. Okay, so now after making this change, you better save this file and then now you run this. Okay, so go back to source mode. Okay, now if you right click and run as Java application, okay, you can see now in the output screen the front end has now changed. Okay, so like that, if you want to make any changes to the UI, so you need to go to design screen and there you can make any changes. And for this particular button, instead of login, if you want to make it a sign in, so you need to click on that button, so towards this text, so change that login to sign in and save it. Okay, so now you can see now it got changed to sign in. Okay, so like that you can make any changes to the front end screen. Okay, so but this is one of the front end screen. Okay, but there are many other front end screen, right? Like after you successfully log in, you will be taken to the welcome panel, and when you click on keys, it will take you to keys management. Okay, all those panel you can see here. See, basically there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 panels in our project. So if you click on this welcome panel, so you can see this is how the welcome screen looks like. If you want to make any changes here, once again you need to select that, change the text and save it. Okay, so like that. So now what will happen when you click on keys? Okay, so when you click on keys, the keys panel will be called. Okay, and the keys panel will look like this. And what will happen when you enter the identifier and when you actually click on generate key? Okay, so assume that you are going to enter some identifier and you click on generate key. What will happen? So to find out what will happen when you click on a particular button, what you need to do is you just have to double click on this button. Okay, just double click on that button. It will take me to this code. See, it automatically took me to one of the code. So that means when you click on that key button, generate the key button, so this part of the code is getting executed within the driver.java. Okay, so the first step I'm doing is I'm reading the key entered by the user. Okay, so and I'm checking if the length is equal to 0. Okay, it will print please enter the identifier, an error message. If not, so I'm going to convert that whatever key user have entered, so that I'm going to convert it into the hash code, and that I will be considering it as a key, and so that key I will trigger an email. Okay, so this part of the code will trigger an email. Okay, so this will be the subject of the email, this will be the body of the email, this will be the second line in the body, third line in the body, and so this particular API will trigger the email. And after sending the email, so I'm printing the text saying that the key has been generated and has been shared with you over an email. Okay, so let us see this entire flow. Okay, to see the entire flow, I'm going to run this project. Okay, I will log in with the ID that I registered. Okay, so now when I click on keys, as expected, keys panel has been shown. I'll go back to the design mode, so you can see now I'm in the keys panel. I'm in the keys panel now. Okay, so now what I will do, I will enter an identifier, say for example Kumar. Okay, so what will happen on clicking this button? On clicking this button, what will happen? Just double click on that, so you can see if that whatever I've entered, if the length of that is 0, then it will display this particular error message, right? So let me check that. So I am not going to type anything. Okay, but still I will click on generate key. So you can see that error message has been printed, whatever I have mentioned here, right? So now if I enter something and click on generate key, the mail will be sent, and what is the message will be printed? Message will be printed like this. The key has been generated and has been shared. Like this message will be printed. So I just clicked on that generate key button. So you can see whatever message I have printed here, so that message got printed here. Okay, so that's how. So if you want to know what is happening on click of each button, so you just have to double click on that button on the design mode, and it will exactly take you to that point of code. Okay, but somewhere here the result is getting displayed, right? See, I have made some space for displaying the result here, and I have called that space as a keys underscore message. The variable name is keys underscore message. See, right now I am not displaying anything in that space. The identifier for that is keys underscore message. But on click of this generate key, see, if there is an error for that keys underscore message, I am printing this value. For that keys underscore message, I am printing this value when there is no error. Okay, so like that. So what will be the key? This will be the key that we are going to send to the user, right? Now if you want this key to be printed on the screen, which is one of your Trello card, so what you need to do, so here after this I'll take a new line and I'll say your key is, okay, your key is, so outside the double quote I'm going to print that key. That's all. Okay, now I just saved it. So if you make any changes to the code, whatever output you already executed, that you need to close it, and then again you run the program. Okay, so now let us see if the code is getting secret key is getting displayed on the screen or not. Okay, so now I'll go to keys. I'll enter the code as hello, the identifier as hello, generate the key. Okay, there it is. You can see my key is so and so. So this is one of your Trello card. If you have done with this change, you can mark that card as complete. Okay, so now let us see the other panels. If you go to the design mode, so it will be the same way. So if you want to know the working of how the encryption, decryption and the comparison portal works, so the same thing, if you go to that components, if you go to encryption panel, so this is where the encryption panel, the front end screen is there. So what will happen when you click on this encrypt execute button? So just double click on that, so you can see this part of the code will be getting executed. Okay, so how do we actually encrypt our file? So whatever file the user have uploaded here, okay, whatever file the user uploaded here will be stored inside a variable called input file, and whatever identifier the user will be entering here, it will be stored inside a variable called ENCID. Same way, whatever key user is entering here, it will be inside a variable called ENC key. So similarly, the variable for resultant directory is result directory. Now if you just double click on this button, so it will take you to the code which gets executed when you click on that. So you can see I'm reading the encryption key, encryption ID, resultant directory, so everything I'm reading. So and then so you can see I'm going to see, basically this project will be working like this. So if you upload a 10 MB file, so we are going to partition the 10 MB file into 1 MB file, like 10 pieces, and there will be a threads to execute those 10 pieces consecutively. I'll show you the project structure. So if you can see in your project there are 7 packages: com.xonlabs.aes.core, DAO, DAO-MPL, driver, mail, Pojo and util. Okay, so core package is the one which will contain the existing AES algorithm and the proposed AES algorithm. So this AES algorithm will contain a method to encrypt a file and decrypt the file. Okay, even the proposed improved AES algorithm also will contain a method to encrypt a file and decrypt a file. Okay, so but as we told, it's not going to be done sequentially. Okay, we are going to make use of threads, encryption thread and decryption thread. Okay, so through threads we are going to perform the encryption of the files parallelly, so that way we will be reducing the time taken for doing encryption. Okay, and the package called DAO will not contain anything apart from a small interface called user DAO. Okay, so you have created the user table, right, in your project. We'll be creating a table called user in our project. So whenever the user creates a new account, so the register method will be called. Whenever he logs into an existing account, get user details method will be called. So whenever he updates, this method will be called. Whenever he deletes the profile, this method. So this is for changing the password and this is for retrieving the password in case if you have forgotten. So but this is just an interface. Okay, it will only contain the method names. Okay, whereas the implementation will be provided here inside a user DAO IMPL. So this is how the register method is written. So just we insert that data into the user table. Okay, so for get user details, we read the data from user table. So for updating the profile, we update that user table. For deleting the profile, we delete the entry from that user table. And for changing the password, so we will update the password with the new password. Similarly, for forgot the password, we will retrieve the password and send back the password to the user's email ID. And the package called driver, this is the entry point. So this driver.java will be containing the front end code. So front end code can be managed through this design mode. Okay, so and then com.aes.mail. So this will contain the utility for sending the email. Okay, sender authentication.java will contain your sender email ID and the sender password. You need to replace this with your email ID and your valid Gmail password. And sendmail.java will have a method called send, which will actually trigger the email from that ID. And this sending the mail will be done through a thread again. So because sending the mail will take a lot of time, so we send the mail in the background. And then a Pojo package will not contain anything apart from just the column names of your database table. So in your table you have email ID, password, first name, last name, etc., right? You will have each those columns here. Okay, it's just like a mapping from Java to database. And the util package will only contain a method to obtain the connection to that database. So this is the so the file, the project structure. So one of the Trello card assigned to you was displaying the key on the user front end screen. That is done. Okay, another Trello card is to validate the email ID, password, mobile number, all those things, right? So to do that, you will have to go for driver.java over in the design mode. Okay, so where we are collecting that email ID, phone number, etc. in the index panel, I mean the first panel, right? I'll go that. Okay, so this is where the user will enter email ID, this is where the user will enter password and mobile and address. Okay, so on click of register, what will happen? Just click that. See, this part of the code will get executed. See, this is the address entered by the user, this is the email ID entered by the user, this is the first name, last name, gender, mobile, and so the address. Okay, so here you will have to add some code. Okay, so for just an example I'm showing, if address dot, so any of the Java method whichever you can use. So I'm just going to make use of address dot length. It's anged, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to make use of address dot length if it is lesser than 20. Okay, so what I should do for this message, the same thing. Okay, I should say address must be at least 20 characters. Okay, else if I'll proceed further. Okay, you should not forget to add this else if. Okay, so now let me close this and run the project again. Let me run the driver again. Okay, so now let me try to create a new account with xyz@gmail.com, password 1234, first name xy, last name yz, gender male, mobile 123456789110, and address I'm just going to give some few characters just like Bangalore. Click on register. There it is. I got a message saying address must be at least 20 characters. So like that you will have to do the validation for phone number, email and password also. Okay, so this is your second Trello card. Okay, and the third Trello card that I given is about the comparison module. Okay, so the report should be mailed to the user email ID, right? So let us see where is that comparison portal. So this is where the comparison panel is coming from, right? Okay, so as soon as the user clicks on existing system, run existing system, and as soon as the user clicks on run proposed system, so when the user clicks on run existing system, the time taken should be sent in an email. So as soon as the user clicks on run proposed system, time taken should be sent in an email. Okay, so let me just double click on this button. So this part of the code will be getting executed. Okay, so where exactly is the time taken? So the time taken is actually here, end time minus start time. Okay, so this is your time taken by the existing system. Okay, so this is the number that you will have to send to the user's email ID. Okay, so now you will have to write some code for triggering the email. Okay, so how to trigger the email? So earlier in here you people already learned how the mail will be triggered, right? I mean in the keys module. So if you scroll left and if you go to keys panel, so here, so you can see these are the few lines for triggering the email, right? This part. So you just copy that same code and go to the comparison module and click on this button. So here you just add those few lines. So two address is done. Okay, subject. Okay, so let's change your subject, time taken for running the existing system. Okay, what should be the body? Okay, so dear first name and last name. So the body should be time taken for running the existing system is instead of key here, so instead of key, so just enter the time taken, so that we have computed here. That's all. So but this mail is not created, right? You need to create this mail. So how are we creating that mail? Let's go there. Let's go back to keys panel. Let's go here, mail. How are we creating that mail? This statement, I will copy it. I'll go back to the comparison portal. I'll add that. So that's all. So this will be triggering the email whenever the user clicks on run existing system. So similarly, when the user clicks on run proposed system, so this method will be getting executed. So where are the time taken here? If you scroll down, this is the time taken. So even this time taken also you should send it in a user email ID. So if you do this, your another Trello card will be completed. So that's how this project works. Thank you so much.